One of the most famous stories about Adolf Hitler revolves around his life before becoming Fuhrer of Germany. For the leader of the Nazi party in Germany would also be a painter. Throughout his life he produced hundreds of pieces of work and sold his paintings and postcards to earn a living in his early life. Lacking in success professionally, he would continue to paint throughout his life. However, what is the story behind Hitler's career as a painter? Remember to support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. In Mein Kampf, Hitler described how when he was younger, he wanted to become a professional artist and that his dreams were ruined as he failed the entrance exam to the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. Twice, Hitler would be rejected, once in 1907 and then again the following year. In his first exam, he passed the first portion, to draw two iconic or biblical scenes. Each session lasted 3 hours each, however the second portion was to provide a portfolio of work. Hitler's portfolio contained too few heads, and although he had a talent in painting architecture, with some suggesting this is what he should go into, he was refused entry into the college. One of his teachers believed he had some talent however, and suggested he should apply to the Academy's School of Architecture. This would have required Hitler to return to secondary school, of which he dropped out, and he refused to do this. From 1908 to 1913, Hitler created postcards and painted houses for a living. In 1910, he painted his first self-portrait, and this was discovered in 1945, following the war. During this time, an Austrian businessman called Samuel Morgenstern brought many of his paintings. Hitler would offer him paintings, and Morgenstern would buy these. Morgenstern owned a glazier business and kept a database of his clients. Through this, it's been discovered that most of the buyers of Hitler's art were in fact Jewish. Hitler was becoming rather frustrated in Vienna and moved to Munich in May 1913. He continued selling scenes of the city's landmarks in shops and beer gardens. He eventually found several loyal and well-off customers who commissioned work from him. However, his progress was stopped when in January 1914, the Munich police tracked him down for failing to register for military draft back in his hometown of Linz. Hitler previously failed his military fitness exam and was declared unsuitable for combat and support duty, being labelled too weak and also incapable of firing weapons. He would enlist later voluntarily after the outbreak of World War I, ending his time as a struggling artist. During the conflict he carried paper and canvas with him to the front and did spend hours drawing and painting. These works would be the last before he would become a politician, and the themes in his wartime paintings included houses and dressing stations. During Hitler's rise to power in Germany, he would argue against and confiscate art he deemed degenerate. This was more modern art, and art made by Jews and Bolsheviks that he deemed threatened German identity or nationalism. In 1937, around 16,000 works of art were rounded up, and some of these were put on display to scorn the artists. However, around 2 million people visited these in their exhibition in Munich. Following the Second World War, a number of Hitler's paintings were seized and were transported to America and are still today held by the US government. However, they declined to allow them to be exhibited. Other paintings of Hitler's were kept by private individuals, and every few years, a number of these works arrive at auction to be sold. In 2009, an auction house in Shropshire, England, sold 15 of Hitler's paintings for £97,000, and another auction house in Shropshire sold 13 works for over €100,000. In 2014, a watercolour by Hitler of the old registry office in Munich sold for €130,000 at a Nuremberg auction house. Today, a group of scholars have estimated that there are only 300 pieces of completed works made by Hitler over the span of his life. However, Hitler did mention in Mein Kampf that he made 2 or 3 paintings a day. If this was to be believed, for his time in Vienna, there would be well over 600 paintings if he was to paint one a day. Hitler also said that in 6 years he spent in Vienna and Munich, he produced over 1,000 paintings between 1908 to 1914. Today in Germany it's legal to sell paintings by Hitler as long as they don't contain Nazi symbols. However, throughout history, his paintings have been labelled to be utterly devoid of rhythm, colour, feeling or imagination, and also, on the other hand, labelled quite good by other critics. What's interesting though, is to understand the mind of the young man who was painting these. The man who painted these paintings in the early 1900s certainly may not have been the man who would be labelled one of history's most evil. Once again, thanks for watching. To support the channel, please make sure to subscribe. Once again, thank you for watching.